Guys, welcome back to my channel. So as a non-coffee drinker who's also pregnant, working full-time with a toddler and all that jazz, I have found that it's hard to get up and going in the morning. And I started doing this smoothie drink maybe a couple weeks ago, and every week I tried like different ingredients. Like this week or last week I started adding kiwis. This week I started adding avocados, and last week I tried a cup of kale and a cup of spinach, and I found that was way too bitter for me. So I reduced it to a half a cup of spinach and a half a cup of kale, and that's like the sweet spot because I could still taste the kale, but it's not as like gross and bitter. Anyways, so yeah, this video is just like gonna be me doing my smoothie recipe, and basically also you'll see my sunlight. I got my sunlight from Amazon last winter. Yeah, so it helps me get going and battles off any just winter blues and stuff. It helps me feel good, get going in the morning, and that's what I use. And excuse me because I am getting over a cold. All right, see you in the video. All right, guys, so to start, I like to use about 2 cups of fruit. So right there I'm just showing you like the blend that I'm using right now. Everything's from Meijer. Basically I'm using a blend that has mangoes, strawberries, peaches, and I think pineapples, and then the other one has berries in there and cherries. And I don't really use the cherries too much because I'm not a cherry person, but the berries, I really like berries. So this was kind of like a day where I was like, what order do I usually do this in, because I was just thrown off by the camera and everything. And so was my daughter. She wanted to play with the tripod. So you'll see me like start doing stuff and then stop and then like do something else. Okay. Anyways, so just to get into it, so I do 2 cups of fruit. So here I'm using kiwi and avocado. I also use Greek yogurt in mine. I usually add about 16 tablespoons of yogurt, but we ran out of the Greek yogurt I usually use, and Meijer didn't have the big thing of Greek yogurt that they usually have, so I just had to go with this kind, and I just put a whole thing of that. It was less than 16 tablespoons, but it, whatever. So yeah, I'm using avocado this week, and I have to say it tastes really good. I don't think I taste the avocado at all. I do taste the kiwi, and it's delicious. So yeah. Now about this sunlight. So I usually use this in the morning to help me get going, because in the winter time, because the winter is just awful in Wisconsin, or the Midwest in general probably, and I just can't get going. Like, it's 7 a.m. It's still dark outside. It's freezing cold. You don't want to get out of bed. So I think we had 2 straight weeks of no sunlight. Like, it wasn't dark, like pitch black. It was cloudy all day long for 2 weeks straight. And I just really noticed a change in my motivation and how I feel in my moods when the sun is not out. So I needed this lamp. It got me through the winter last year. Sometimes I would feel like I was going to fall asleep at my desk last year, so this helped me a lot to stay awake and alert and stuff. And then now this year, I'm doing a little bit something different with work. So I just use it in the morning, like putting my smoothie together, or sometimes I use it while I'm sitting at my dining room table doing some remote work, and it really helps me a lot. So anyways, like I said, 2 cups of fruit, and then I also add a half a cup of kale and a half a cup of spinach. And I use a half a cup of each because I found that a whole cup is way too much for me. It just tastes really bitter, and I don't like it. And I also found, this might be TMI, but I also found that if I use more, like a cup of spinach and a cup of kale, that's 2 cups of green leafy greens, that I get the runs a little bit. So not like diarrhea, but just I notice my poops are more like, you know, very green and mushy, and I don't know. But it could just be because of the fruit too. But I'll say, since I moved to a half a cup of each, I don't have that problem anymore. So I think it was just I had too much of that in there. So a half a cup is my sweet spot for each of those. So a full cup of leafy greens. I came up with this recipe just because I was looking online at different what pregnant women are supposed to be getting in their daily diets, and I figured this is probably one reason that I also felt low energy, is because I really wasn't getting enough greens in my diet. I really wasn't eating very much fruit. I mean, I would eat like an apple or 2 a day, which is probably fine, but it's not a very good variety of fruit, so this is a good way to do that. And then also dairy for me has always been a struggle, so I always take calcium pills since I was a kid, because I always had like issues with what is it called? I was lactose intolerant as a child, and then I grew out of it. So now I can eat yogurt and stuff like that, but I still find the taste gross because after years of being sick from trying to dairy, I just now associate it with grossness. So that's where I'm at. So yeah, it's a really delicious smoothie. I really like the recipe. And I just kind of came up with it. It's fun to make smoothies because you can somebody tell me, how do you bypass this issue of getting stuff stuck at the bottom of your blender? Anyways, you can just change your recipe as you like each time you make a smoothie, and I think that's what makes it really fun, because you just never know, you know, what it's going to taste like until you taste it, and then you're like, oh, this is too much bitterness, or this is too much sweetness, and you can adjust your recipe. But yeah, I just basically drink this in the morning. Leftovers I drink, you know, after I finish this, and then I drink water throughout the day, and it really gets me through a really rough winter. So thanks for watching, and comment what's your smoothie recipe.